Hey Ed, welcome to another episode of Rankum. It's going to be a fun one today. We're talking Keanu Reeves movie, and I've got a great, breathtaking panel here with me. I've got Richard Schwartz. Richard, how's it going?
It's going good. I was looking over IMDb, and then I realized I haven't seen that many Keanu Reeves movies. There's a lot more than I thought, but I have a good number of choices, so hopefully they get on. I'm sure they will, but I'm excited to hear the other people's choices.
But also here I've got for the first time I've got Alan Shepherd. Alan, how's it going?
Aloha, everyone. I'm excited to be here. Yeah, first time on this one, so this will be great. But not my first time with all you guys, all you fine gentlemen. I'm excited to be here with you because we have battled before or have teamed up before, done all these fun things together. But I think the first time I'll be talking Keanu movies with all these fine gents, so this will be exciting.
And next up, I've got someone who's contractually obliged to be on the same episode of Richard Schwartz. We've got Ryan Payne. Ryan, how's it going?
Yeah, that's a funny way to put it. No, to be honest, I think majority of my rankums have been with Richard on the panel here, so this will be a lot of fun. Yeah, and Alan said, we're no stranger to each other. I mean, pretty much with both of these guys, Richard and Alan, I've been on panels with them, judging or playing against. I mean, it's pretty much like a multiverse. No matter what version I'm in, these two are going to be there, either as a partner, ally, or an enemy. But this is going to be fun. We're all on the same side here. Hopefully.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's playing me out. Okay. I got to go out.
You got played out. That's your exit music. You got to go.
Yeah, I can play the Avengers game now. Yeah, bye.
Sorry, my phone rang.
It's
all right.
all good. But anyway, how the show works is we're going to go around the panel and nominate carriers who we think belongs on the top 12 list. Because we've got a four-person panel today, the person who does the nominating has going to have to rely on everyone else to get it on. So it's one of those different ones because I've got even numbers. I did try to get someone else, but a lot of people were just really busy today. But yeah. But I'm going to go to Richard first. Richard, what's the first movie you're going to bring up?
My first nomination is probably my favorite Keanu Reeves, and it may not be. It was between 1 and 2, between which one I was going to choose. So I'm choosing Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. It's probably my favorite, bro type of stoner comedy. I mean, Bogus Journey is really good too, but I also love the history aspect. Then going back in time, pick up these historical figures. Keanu's great with Alex Winters. They both have distinct characters. And to quote the great Abraham Lincoln, "Party on, dudes."
But Alan, what do you say about Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
That was going to be my number one choice. So, of course, it's an excellent choice. Non-heinous. Yeah, it's one of my favorite films of all time. Definitely my favorite Keanu, one of my favorite Keanu movies. Yeah, Keanu and Alex together are just perfect. I love all of these movies. And the first one, of course, we wouldn't have the other two without the first one. So, yep, party on. Let's do it.
And Ryan, what do you say about Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
I mean, this is obviously a yes. This movie is 100% iconic when it comes to Keanu Reeves' career. I mean, throughout looking at Keanu's career, I'm pretty sure he would have definitely had a solid acting career without Bill and Ted, but it wouldn't have propelled him as faster into the roles he's gonna get later on that we're gonna talk about without Bill and Ted.
Yeah. And yeah, this would have been an easy yes for me too. It's like, this is a really great movie, and it's just one of those ones that will always stand the test of time when it comes to comedies and all that. And as Brian put it, 69 dudes. But anyway, with that, we go to Alan for your first nomination.
My first nomination is going to be the Keanu Sans came to be after this film, and that's John Wick, the first John Wick movie. I think one of the best action films, especially when it came out. We needed a kind of one-man solo ass-kicking, action, insane brilliantly directed, choreographed, amazing. I'm not a big gun guy, but John Wick with a gun, I'm all aboard that because it's pretty beautiful to watch. And it really, it's just as far as, there wasn't a lot said. I think Keanu sometimes when he's not playing a silly character, the less said, the better for him. And John Wick is a man of few words, all action, and Keanu can prove, even in his older age, that he can do action very, very well. So I think John Wick is just perfect.
Ryan, what do you say about John Wick?
One of the top 5 I was definitely going to recommend. I mean, whatever people's feelings are on the sequels later on, no one can deny that the first one is fantastic, and it's all carried mainly through Keanu. I mean, within the first 30 minutes, he only has like a few lines, but my favorite scene is still when he's that phone call when he gets from Nikolai. He's saying nothing while the Russian mob boss is saying everything. Just cut back. He's talking. You cut back to Keanu, staring off in distance, literally saying nothing. And when he hangs up the phone, my favorite exchange. What did he say? Enough. So yes, I was gonna definitely go with John Wick.
Yeah, John. This is one that was going to be easy one as well. John Wick is definitely yes for me. Richard, what do you say about John Wick?
There hasn't been a movie that I rooted so hard for the hero to kill the villain because murdering of that puppy, it made me very sad, made me very angry, but it was a great freaking film. So yeah, that would have been a yes.
I do kind of want to see with this movie. There have been movies, and when we look back at ones we've seen from our childhoods in the past where animals have been killed, I guess now with John Wick, it's finally the one that kind of stamped it down. It's unforgivable. It is unforgivable when you kill a pet.
But anyway, Ryan, what is your first nomination?
Well, I know this list is going to definitely get harder down the lines, which is why I will start with the film. I know we're going to come up with some easy ones, which is why in my list, I'm actually going to pick one that is underrated at times, but at the same time, it's also a good example of Keanu Reeves acting, and that is the movie Hardball. That movie was definitely growing up. When I was slowly moving out of baseball. Hardball was definitely one of those movies with Keanu Reeves. I mean, honestly, Keanu drew me in, but the fact it was baseball and it was surrounding a team of young kids, inner city kids, though, which was fantastic. And I loved how at first rewatching it, it looked like it was going to play on the whole little white savior thing, but it did not. It did not. Keanu is a broken man throughout the entire movie, and it's pretty much that team that he, in a way, saves him. He doesn't help them at all. I mean, it was just more of the situation that even at the end they don't win the final game. It's just more of that they become more than a team together. So that's hard. I'm pitching Hardball.
Yeah, this is one I actually haven't seen. Like I tried to watch as many Keanu Reeves as I could, but this is one that just wasn't on any streaming services for me, so I just couldn't get around to watching it. Richard, have you seen Hardball?
I have not seen it. However, I don't have that many Keanu movies on my list. I haven't seen that many apparently. So I'm going to do a couple blind faith guesses, and Ryan sold me, so it's a yes for me.
Which means it's all on Ellen. Ellen, what do you say about Hardball?
Definitely, only because I forgot about this movie. But back in the day when I had cable, this was on, I think it was either Cinemax or HBO, one of the two, all of the time. I can't remember which one, but it was on a lot. And I remember watching it a lot. And exactly right. It's one of those, you think it's going to be following that white savior kind of thing. But yeah, they really don't. And Keanu's really broken. I mean, the more I think about it, the more broken he is as a character, or as an actor in the role that he has, the better he does. And it's a really good movie. It's a sweet movie. It's another one of those sports movies that I don't care about sports, but it makes me care about this team and this group of people. So yeah, it's a definite yes for me.
Yeah.
There you go.
Awesome. Okay, I don't know if Malcolm froze or if he's deciding.
Oh no, I hadn't.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, my first nomination I'm going to sort of throw out there is be another another really obvious one, but it's the Matrix. This is one that like after his 90s stuff, like with Speed and all that, like he was just coming up. The Matrix is probably what sort of essentially put him on the map, so to speak. It's where people sort of came to get to know him more, and just so I think this is the first really big blockbuster he's ever done, and this just and I think what he does in this is great, and this is one that it definitely deserves to be on this list, and I think yeah, and the way his chemistry he has with all the cast and everything from the bullet time sequence and just everything is just amazing. So much more I could say, but I'm not. Richard, what do you say about The Matrix?
No, it's a yes. I mean, it was two crappy sequels, but this is like probably the big break for Keanu. Kind of like changed his career for the better to this great. I'm not saying he had bad careers in the '90s, but it wasn't as huge as The Matrix was. So the Matrix movie was fantastic. It spawned two crappy sequels, but Matrix was a great movie on its own. So yes.
Alan, what do you say about The Matrix?
Well, what can you say that hasn't been said? It's a big yes, and I think The Matrix, what it did is it put people who are into films, film buffs, they knew who Keanu Reeves was from the '90s, but I think The Matrix put him on a global thing. Now you can say Keanu, and everybody knows who you're talking about, almost the same way Robert De Niro or Al Pacino, those kind of guys. Not saying he's in the same acting category with them, but as megastar, he definitely is, and Matrix definitely was a huge part of that. So yeah, without a doubt.
And Ryan, what would you have said about The Matrix?
Yeah, without 100%, this was one of my top 3 favorite Keanu Reeves movies. And yeah, I can also say the sequels were crappy too. But when I was growing up at that time, I didn't care. I was all in, sold with Keanu, Lawrence Fishburne, and the story itself. Even looking back at it, I still love Keanu and Lawrence in the movie. Keanu did good for what he was given, honestly. Because let's be honest, if you look at that dialogue, everything feels detached, or it's meant to be very high-s philosophical and moral debates. Now, today, now that with this whole freaking situation that we're going through, we can see those debates that's going on with the Matrix and with the whole idea of us constantly relying on technology to where, yeah, this stuff makes a lot more sense to where you can almost argue it's ahead of its time. But we're not talking about the movie. We're talking about Keanu, and that would have been a hell yes.
Which means we go back to Richard. Richard, what was the next movie you're going to bring up?
The next category I'm bringing up is The Devil's Advocate. I loved Keanu's performance in this movie. I loved Al Pacino. It may be not the greatest movie of all time, but I enjoyed the hell out of it. So, yeah, it's creepy, and then I like courtroom stuff. It's always fun.
Alan, what do you say about Devil's Advocate?
All right, now it is a fun. Me and my wife watched this last week.
In my mind, I was in 5th grade when this movie came out.
Oh, when I first saw it, I saw it in the theater.
School at the time.
Yeah, I was, I saw it in the theater, and I remember, I hadn't seen it since then, and that, that was a long time ago. So me and my wife watched it last week. Love Keanu, love Al Pacino, love Charlize.
Oh, Charlize. Yeah.
But man, he is terrible. There's one thing, Keanu in action, all the way. Keanu with the deadpan stare, the steely eye stare, all the way. But that man with dialects and accents, atrocious. And this was a prime example. His Southern dialect is one of the worst things I've ever heard. And being an acting teacher, acting coach, and a dialect coach, it drove me crazy. But the movie is fun. The movie is good. Pacino alone is out of his mind and chewing scenery up left and right. And it's really great. That last reveal, the set design of his office in the building is awesome. So as a goofball watch, yes. I'll say yes to it. But with that caveat that it, as far as performance-wise, it's not one of Keanu's best.
Ryan, what do you say about the Devil's Advocate?
God damn. I mean, I'll be honest. Like with Richard, I have not watched many of Keanu Reeves movies. Some I've watched, and I say some of the movies are great on their own. But when Keanu's involved, like there's one movie on Keanu's filmography.
You
I'm
can
not
say
bringing
no.
up.
It's more than it's more
I'm
than
torn.
okay.
I'm torn apart on this because, like, what Alan brought up, it is a good film. Pacino's fantastic. Charlize is awesome. And yeah, I've taken acting classes in the past. I've done theater productions. Seeing what Keanu does takes me back to my time when I was learning acting. I was putting on terrible dialects. It's like he took me back to. I mean, personally, though, I want to believe. I mean, Keanu didn't always sell me in this. I mean, if we were just nominating movies alone, Devil Advocate, yes, but unfortunately, as a Keanu Reeves movie, no.
Okay.
And yeah, it doesn't make the list. I just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
No. Oh man.
But yeah, this is what I really hope comes on streaming so I can see how bad his performance is and like that stuff.
But
I
it's on
I
Netflix.
applaud him for
I
trying.
haven't seen this movie
Oh.
since 5th grade, but I like the
applaud.
movie.
I applaud
It's on
Keanu
Amazon
for
Prime.
trying something different. I really applaud him for trying something different. The problem is
Yeah.
that it doesn't look like he's being consistent with it.
I mean, I'll say it's not an Amazon Prime in New Zealand though. So there's
Yeah,
that.
Whew.
But anyway, before we go background to Alan.
Well, I'm gonna go with, and it might be unorthodox, but I'm gonna go with Bill and Ted Face the Music. Because I love this movie and I love Keanu in this movie because we just had, John Wick Keanu, 3 movies of him just being a badass physically, just amazing and incredible. And in this one, he looks like a middle-aged, little older than middle-aged man trying to keep up with reality, both physically, vocally, but we also see some amazing slight changes acting-wise. And when he goes to the future selves of him, we see 3 different Teds in this movie, and they're each Ted, but slightly distinct, and they're really, really fantastic. I think he does amazing stuff. And the old man Ted, so I have 4 actually Teds. I think he just does amazing. It's a feel-good movie. It's exactly what I wanted and what I needed right now. So I'm going with that one. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I'll find out shortly, but I'm going Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Ryan, what do you say about Bill and Ted Face the Music?
I haven't seen it, so I really can't. I'm sorry. If I had seen Bill and Ted, if I saw Face the Music if I saw it last week, or at least during any time in the week, I would definitely nominate this too. But unfortunately, I've just not seen it, mainly because in Diego, we're now starting to get movies back out here in theaters, at least.
Yeah,
So I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is one that to bring up a new release movie, it's really risky, but it's also, this is one I have seen, and I agree with you. I think it's a good movie. Like with him doing like many different kids, it's great. I'm not going to say a lot about this movie because I don't want to spoil it anyway. But like,
I did.
Yeah, yes.
well,
Well, we knew it's pretty sure with time travel involved, we're going to see different versions of Ted.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, this is one that I personally think like he was kind of overshadowed by his daughter in the movie, but I'm still going to give this a yes. And Richard, have you seen Face the Music?
I have seen Face the Music. It is clearly the weakest out of the 3. I enjoyed Face the Music. I enjoyed it, but however, I will say one of the problems of the movie was Keanu. Even though he was having fun, I think he forgot how to do the Ted impersonation because he lost the Ted voice quite a bit throughout the movie.
No.
Oh, he's older.
I enjoyed Face the Music, but it is clearly not. The Bogus Journey and Excellent Adventure are better than Face the Music, and there were kind of problems. The daughters Ted's daughter overshadowed her. I had a problem with Bill's daughter in this because like she couldn't really get the
Yeah.
accent.
Samara, she
Samara-
could, yeah,
Isn't that
she did.
Samara Weaving as Bill's
And,
Samara Weaving, yeah.
It's a fun
Her
movie,
dialect flows out of it.
but it felt like it was an hour and a half. It was an hour and a half, and as much as I enjoyed the chemistry between Keanu and Alex Winters, it's a no for me just because I liked the first two a lot more than the third one. But I did like the third one though.
Fair.
Yeah.
And also, we did not need Rufus's daughter in this. I'm sorry.
I agree with that. Yes. Well, she was miscast. I think somebody else would have done a better job. Yeah, I agree.
So since we're tied, is this just going to be put on the shelf to later, or just go?
No, it doesn't go in, right?
It doesn't go in because you didn't
Yeah.
see it.
You didn't see it, so
I'm just saying,
And,
we're going to be going through
I'm
Keanu.
okay with that.
Most of us may have not have seen, so
Well, I mean,
I got another one I'm gonna bring up you haven't seen.
okay, all right, sorry, all right, I don't want to keep.
But anyway, Ryan, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
Pop quiz, hot shot. You're facing yourself down a road. You have two movies that you want to select, but you know one of them the audience that your panel has not seen, and then another one the panel has definitely seen. The choice is, what do? You go with the one everyone has seen. It is Speed. Seriously, you want to talk about something else that propelled Keanu into mega stardom? This movie as well. I mean, look, the acting cast that was in front of him. You had Dennis Hopper really doing a good job between Hammy and Sirius, Jeff Daniels, and then you had, of course, what I didn't realize at the time, but now a post Terminator 2 Joe Morton as the police captain.
Yep.
And then, of course, you got Sandra Bullock being the perfect opposite or the perfect balance to Keanu in that scene. While Keanu's cop, he's more of the deadly serious, like, keep this bus over 50. She's more like, okay, yeah, I am serious, but at the same time, let's add a little levity to this. Get to know you a little bit. Sure. I would have loved to have seen Keanu in the sequel, but even then, I think Sandra does a good job with that on her own. So I am nominating Speed.
But with yes, Speed is an easy yes. Like this is one that even though I haven't seen it in a while, I still remember it a lot and enough to confidently say yes to it. I do think it's a fine movie. I do. But this is one I want to rewatch at some stage, but it's just not on a streaming service in New Zealand, so I can't at the moment.
Oh, that's right.
But Richard, what do you say about Speed?
It's funny when Ryan mentioned about how Keanu wasn't good acting in Devil's Advocate, but then he chose his Speed, which the acting for Keanu was not as good either.
Difference is Keanu was using the dialect in Devil's Advocate. He's not using
That
one
being
here.
said, I'm not the one who's picky with bad acting. I actually love bad acting. I love Speed. I love the 50 miles per hour. It's a yes for me. But I'm just saying, if you're gonna hit me on my acting performance of the Advocate, you can't.
I didn't talk a lot about Keanu's acting in Speed. I didn't talk about his acting in Speed. I told this on the cast. So I know the bad acting, but I love that.
Woof.
Hey, my cast had Al Pacino.
Okay. Yes. You did a
So
stronger cast.
So was that a yes, Richard?
Yeah, it's absolutely yes for me. I love Speed.
Alan, what would you have said about Speed?
Definitely Speed. I mean, Speed's it's you. There are shots in that movie, even though I haven't seen it in a very long time, that I still visualize. Remember, every time I think of a car turning a corner or a bus turning a corner too fast, I think of it going up on two wheels. The same shot from that movie. And Keanu, in that movie, it's not his best acting performance, but didn't really need that. I mean, we had Bullockseas and we had Dennis Hopper chewing up all the scenery in the greatest of ways. So Speed's a go.
But with that, we go over to me. And the first one I'm going to bring up is this is one in which he wasn't in it a lot, but I still think this is a good movie. It's always been my maybe. This is one of my favorite rom-coms that came out in 2019. It's just really fun, like Randall Park and I want to say Aquafina, but I don't think it is.
No, it's it's comedian. It's the stand-up
Ali
comedian.
Wong. Ali Wong.
Ali Wong.
But is great in this, and like Keanu's bits like are really small. Like he may be in more of an extended cameo in this, but I thought I'd try my luck with this because I think as a movie it's good. Even though Keanu isn't in it a lot, but he's good in that moment he's on screen. Richard, what do you say about Always Be My Maybe?
Always Be My Maybe was on my list. I wasn't sure if I was going to put it on there because the fact it was kind of a cameo. However, his cameo was so strong because he's playing himself, and even then, like himself was really a character that it was a really strong presence throughout the movie. So I'm going to say yes, even though it's not a Keanu, like he's not the leading role, but he has such a powerful impact throughout that movie. And the movie's fantastic, by the way. If you guys haven't seen it, go see Always Be My Maybe. It's such a good one. It's on Netflix.
But Alan, what do you say about Always Be My Maybe?
I'm not the rom-com guy, but I have seen this, and it's adorable. It's really cute. It's really well done. And Keanu is he's barely in it. It is pretty much a cameo, but when he is in it, it's memorable because it's him and the pivotal kind of role he plays in the small little portion of the film. He's great. It's fantastic. So and it maybe helped me out later with one of my suggestions, which he's not in a lot, but pivotal. So it's a go.
I think I know what movie you're talking about.
Ryan, what do you say about Always Be My Maybe?
Oh, this one? I mean, look, I would not have been interested in watching this movie when I saw it being advertised, but then a friend of mine shared me that Keanu scene, the slow walk with Sale, and then him just doing the complete like hipster thing where he's this new wave restaurant experiencing everything new. I'm like, what the hell am I watching? So, and yeah, even though it's a cameo, let's be honest, that's a cameo that really takes over it because at the end of the movie, the character Randall Park literally writes a song called I Punched Keanu Reeves. So more of a heightened cameo. So I would have said yes.
Yeah. But with that, we go back to Richard.
All right, I might as well just throw this out there because Face the Music and Excellent Adventure we've already thrown out, but Bogus Journeys, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journeys. I think this is probably one of the best sequels to a movie that's probably been ever made. Not only is it a great Bill and Ted sequel, not only does it have that same feel, but it also has a different genre feel to the movie. It's like an MCU movie in itself, where it's a different genre, but it's the same Bill and Ted you love. Also, you got, Death, one of the best new characters, cheating at Twister, a battleship, like always, Station's always great. The whole, taking on their future selves, building the building the robot us's, and then that whole rock thing at the end of the film was just like, they could have ended the series there, but people wanted more. Without Bogus Journey, I think you probably wouldn't have got Face the Music because you got some great things in Bogus Journey. So I might as well throw that out there as well.
Alan, what do you say about Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey?
I was going to bring it up next. So yes, exactly what Richard said. It is one of those few rare sequels that's better than the first one, and it doesn't do the sequel trope, which is just rehash the first stuff. It takes a whole new turn, and Keanu playing evil Ted and good Ted, and it's amazing. I mean, there's slight subtle differences. The joy in which he has as evil Ted is absolutely palpable and incredible. I smile every time evil Ted and evil Bill are on the screen because it's just they're having so much fun and he's having so much fun with it. So yeah, excellent choice.
Ryan, what do you say about Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey?
Yeah, if Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure wasn't brought up, I was definitely going to nominate Bogus Journey. That was the first one I saw of the Bill and Ted movies. And yeah, I definitely love the whole death character. I mean, let's be honest. What better way? They took the Seventh Seal, a movie that's so dramatic of mortality and facing death, and they put a great comedy spin onto it. Twister, Yahtzee, Shoots and Ladders. I mean, for Christ's sake. I mean, it even ties into Face the Music, which I've not seen, but they do show in that trailer. he is still playing games amongst himself, so he is still sore about losing to those guys. So I can't wait to see that moment when they reunite with Death in Face the Music. So I would say yes to Bogus Journey.
Yeah, I would have said it would have been an easiest for Bogus Journey for me as well. So yeah, Bogus Journey makes the list.
Also, that's probably the reason why I wasn't a fan of Face's music as much as the other two, because they really hashtag both the first two movies into Face the Music.
But that being said, Ryan, what is your next pick?
That would be Alan for the nomination.
Alan, yes. Alan,
yeah, no worries.
Just because he's from Hawaii doesn't mean he still matters, even though he lives in Hawaii.
Right, I'm still out here. I'm still out here floating. So I'm gonna go, since we just did the Almost Be My Maybe, which he isn't in a lot. I'm gonna go with another movie that he isn't in a lot, but he's amazing. He's covered up with a bunch of makeup. He plays a dog, the dog boy. This is the movie Freaked, the Alex Winter starring Randy Quaid starring film about this poor ragtag group getting turned into freaks of nature and in this amazing, crazy, twisted carnival-esque thing. It's just absolutely a great film. It's totally insane. A lot of fun, a lot of irreverent humor. That plays actually a lot really well today with a bunch of different tropes that they use in this film. I love it. It's hard to find, so if everybody else hasn't seen it, it's okay, most likely, but I'm throwing out there Freaked.
Ryan, what do you say about Freaked?
Yeah, I really haven't seen it, but I listened to a podcast talk about this movie. This podcast actually is one of the things I was already, before when you had brought this to me, I was already listening to a podcast that was breaking down all of Keanu Reeves' filmography, and they talked about Freaked, and the way they were talking about this movie has me freaking intrigued. I mean, I'm not the biggest of like body dysmorphia or body horror films, but I do see the appeal of those. But this one, silly. Yeah, I was gonna say like a mad scientist, but the way the guys were talking about, they were talking about it as if it was like a straight horror. But the way you're saying it's just like a silly. You know what? It's still be on there. You know what? I don't know. I mean, unfortunately, because I have not seen it, I would have to say no. I can't. I mean, at this point, I could take Richard Chappros and try to go with a blind faith on this one. But I'm already looking at this list here, and there's maybe I don't know. It's I don't know. After my 180 with The Devil's Advocate and Speed, I need to be very careful on what I choose.
Yeah, thank you, Peggy, for clarifying.
I don't know what she's referring to, honestly. Now I'm terrified. What do you mean, Peggy? I'm terrified now.
I think I know.
I mean, knowing.
Sorry, my dog.
I thought you had a teapot on.
But I mean, knowing Peggy as much as I do, I think I might know which one. It might be, but anyway,
I'm sorry. I will have to say no. I will have to say no.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say no as well. I just haven't seen this. But looking at the cast that's in this, you got Brooke Shields, you got Mr. T, you got John M. Chu acting. Randy Quaid is in this as well, and Bobcat Goldthwait.
Bobcat Goldthwait as a sock puppet, as a head. It's great.
But yeah, Richard, have you seen Freaked?
No, and after hearing the cast, I probably don't think I want to.
Oh, wow! Wow!
The only Mr. T movie I support was freaking Rocky 3. Or is it Rocky 2?
That's Rocky 3.
What about his cameo in not another team movie? That was fun.
Oh, it was great.
But with that, we do go on to Ryan. Next, Ryan, what's the next movie you're going to bring up?
Okay, I'm a little worried that this was not. I thought this would be brought up very soon, but I guess with Keanu, we had to pick. But you know what? You talk about oh fuck! I wanted to have like this big little lead up to it. I'm just gonna say it. Constantine. I'm dominating Constantine because this movie This was like one DC movie that not many people were expecting, and of course the reception was like people did not like it. But now when you look back at this movie, you realize it was a very good adaptation, not a direct adaptation of the Hellblazer comics, but it was still a great adaptation to make its own story and its own spin of the character of Constantine. Yeah, he's not British. He doesn't have his trench coat. But if you give us an American version of Constantine, I could definitely buy this. And I love the versions of Hell and Heaven that they were approaching to us instead of just in the comics toward demons and angels were just chaotic or they would attack you for no freaking purpose. At least in this version of Constantine, heaven and hell had a purpose to where demons and angels could not harm you, but they could influence your choices to determine whether you do go to heaven or hell. And I love the idea of Constantine's character to where he already knows where he's going, but he's trying so hard to get out of that rough situation because, he was dealt a bad hand. And then I liked this movie. It was not an origin story either. This is a Constantine years after his prime. So it's kind of like what we want to get from a Batman movie. What I thought Snyder would give us from his portrayal of Ben Affleck's Batman, a Batman removed from his prime. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing AKA I'm looking forward to watch the Snyder Cut. But right now on Keanu, I'm going with Constantine because Keanu does a great job being deadpan, being very low with dry humor. Like, it's so dry, you have to rewatch it to pick up on it, honestly. And yeah, I'm done. I leave it in your hands.
Yeah, this is one I was going to sort of rewatch for this. I just ran out of time to do so. But yeah, from what I remember, I do think Constantine is a fine movie. Matt Ryan will always be my Constantine. No, but the movie isn't terrible. I'm going to say yes, but I think it's good enough to be on this list. Richard, what do you say about Constantine?
The movie's okay. I enjoyed the movie. However, this is Keanu's performance, and I really liked Keanu's performance as Constantine. Like, the worst thing I hated about this movie was Rachel Weisz and Shia LaBeouf. Those are the worst two people about those movies. But Keanu's performance in itself was actually pretty decent. I really liked it, so it's a yes for me. Because this isn't about like we said before, it's not the best movie featuring Keanu Reeves. It's the best Keanu Reeves performance, and I thought he did a good job with it. So it's a yes for me.
Alan, what would you have said about Constantine?
This movie on paper was everything I wanted. The execution of it, however, I can't. I just hate it so much. There are scenes, and Leo, I think, put in the chat that Peter Stormare as the Lucifer. That scene is brilliant, amazing, and fantastic. There are certain scenes that are very good, but the rest of it is so boring, and the dry humor, it just falls flat for me every single time with a lot of it. However, as I think Ryan, you kind of saved my my definite no with a, you know what, it wasn't supposed to be a direct adaptation, and if this is an American Constantine, which is it is, Keanu does a great job portraying that character. As the Hellblazer character Constantine, no. But as an American version, yes, great. But Rachel Weisz and Shia, oh boy, are they terrible in this film. I'll echo Richard's that. But I'll give it a yes just because I like the idea. I would want to see another one. And there's been rumors that they're going to float around, maybe, possibly. And I would definitely want to see another one. If I thought it was so bad I couldn't stomach that.
Okay, I'm sorry. If there was another Constantine movie, it needs to be Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan hasn't built up that role. Sorry.
No, yes, we will not argue that. We will not argue that. But
we won't argue that. And what might be cool? What might be cool is you bring in Keanu's Constantine, and there's two. That might be cool. There's two Constantines.
He can't tap into the multiverse. He can't
exactly. So maybe we do a little bit of that.
We can do that. We can do we can do what Crisis did with bringing Gustin and Ezra Miller's Flash together.
There we go, just like that. So I'll give it a yes.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. That's one thing I was disappointed about with Crisis on Infinite Earths is that they didn't bring in Keanu's constantly to at least talk to him once.
Oh, he would have been over. He would have been too much for them. They love to go under budget.
Yeah, there's no way they could afford that.
I mean, it's one of those ones like I think Ezra Miller just happened to be in Vancouver at the time and said,
yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, but anyway, this is not an Arrowverse video. It's on to me, and I'm going to go with one that I watched for the first time for this that I think should be here. I'm going to go for a movie called Street Kings. This is one that I saw as like just based on the description was like I don't know how I'm going to sort of react to this movie. It's just one of those ones I watched it. It's a fun movie. Like this is one that it's great. I'm just bringing it up now, just make sure I don't sort of.
I know what movie you're talking about for sure.
But yeah, but you got like Hugh Laurie in this playing a detective. You've got Christina's crush, Chris Evans in here. There's a lot of great cast, and it's just one of those ones like, especially in this day and age, it does show sort of how much sort of police do have when it comes to doing stuff, and it's one that it may be a hard to watch in this climate, but it's still a fun movie all the same. Richard, what do you say about Street Kings?
I have not seen it, but it sounds like a great movie, so I'm doing a blind faith yes for me.
Alan.
This is another one that I forgot about, but I have seen it. And I remember at the time, at the time there was a lot of different films coming out around a little bit before this one came out, 8 or something, 2008 or 9. There was a lot of stuff that were cop-driven kind of movies, similar. And I thought this one, okay, this is an interesting take, and it had a lot of people in it that Forrest Whitaker, Cedric the Entertainer, in this film. I'm gonna say yes because I forgot about it. But the more I think about it, it's one I definitely want to rewatch or revisit again. So yeah, I'll go yes on this one.
Ryan, what do you say about Street Kings?
I was actually when I made that little pop quiz hot shot reference, it was because the one I was going to suggest was Street Kings because I did not think anybody in this panel saw it. I remember watching this. This was definitely kind of like at the time an out of his comfort zone role for Keanu Reeves. Because from remembering the dates where Street Kings was, this was not far removed from the Matrix Revolutions, where people still saw him as the one.
Yep.
And also with this role, he's playing a pretty much a grizzled cop who's technically, he's not corrupt though, but he has no problem breaking the rules to do what he wants. And then he has this crisis of conscience with a former partner being killed, and then of course discovering the trail of corruption within his own department. And yeah, with Chris Evans in there, Hugh Laurie, Forrest Whitaker backing him up, an early Terry Crews, I would say, in that movie.
That's right.
But don't worry, if you're worried about how important his acting is, trust me, it doesn't last long. He's the former partner that gets killed. That's not a spoiler. But it has like a surprisingly like heavy ensemble. Other than Cedric Entertainer, there was like Common, Naomi Harris before she blew up, before she became world recognized at being Monty Punny in Daniel Craig's Skyfall. Man, there's just like so many actors. You rewatch this movie, but on Keanu alone carrying this movie, I would say he does a good job making us trying to understand why his character is such a burnout. So that would have been a yes for me too.
Before we go back to Richard.
Give me 1 second, guys. All right. Okay. Sorry. Real quick. Okay. Not real quick. I'm ready for my choice. It's not the greatest movie of all time. It's not the most serious movie, but it's a lot of fun. I'm going with The Replacements. Is it the greatest sports film of all time? No. Is it a lot of fun? Yes. Keanu's great in it. You know, he has Orlando Bloom, he has Jon Favreau, Gene Hackman. It's not 47. It's not like, it's not like Hardball. But, it's kind of like the Suicide Squad, kind of the losers type of football, the underdogs. And I just think it's a lot of fun. Like, I think Keanu does a fine job. Not the greatest acting skill, but I mean, he does a good job. And it's funny at times. And good moments.
Alan, what do you say about The Replacements?
It's much as the title suggests. It's a replacement film. If you're not got anything better to watch, why not? It's not terrible. It's not horrible. It's not going to hurt your feelings. It's going to make you laugh. You root for this ragtag bunch of guys.
I said Orlando Bloom. It's Orlando Jones. My bad. That's
okay. Hey.
Yeah, Orlando
How
Jones.
dare you, sir? How dare you misplace the star of Evolution? It's a good movie. It's a fine film, and Keanu's great in it. I love it. Let's do it.
Ryan, what do you say about The Replacements?
What better way can you use "I Will Survive" as a moral, pick me up, as a rallying cry? And so this is a yes for me. Yeah, Keanu, he is you can almost put, some people can say he's almost kind of like just coasting by on this movie. Okay, Peggy, I knew exactly. Okay,
right, Peggy.
I love The Replacements because as somebody who, as of course, going through high school, wanting to play sports and then losing my opportunity to play, that speech, or at least the start, what Keanu says of quicksand, on how when you get in one bad situation and then bad things, and then something else happens, more and another, and then you're just surrounded in such a bad situation that you can't get out, that you can't breathe. That explains so much of how I felt when I played sports in high school. And I love the idea that these are just guys who are just replacement players. Nothing happens. Like, I love that the speech Hackman says, there's no endorsement deals, no contract signings, just a locker that needs to be cleaned out and a ride home that needs to be catched. I love the idea of these guys getting a second chance. And then even though afterwards they got to go back to whatever lives or whatever situations they were in, they got for one moment to live their dream. So yes, The Replacements.
This is one that I just haven't got around to seeing. So, but with that, it makes the list. Then we don't have to worry about Peggy yelling at us.
It would make the fantasy film draft very awkward if I got on that panel.
But with that, Alan, what is the next movie you're going to bring up? We've only got two spots left.
2 spots left, and let's hope. All right, now look, Keanu is very good at a particular thing, and I've already established he is terrible at dialects and terrible at accents. But this next movie is one of my favorite guilty pleasure movies of all time. And his terrible, awful, disgusting performance is one of my favorite bad performances to watch and revel in how great and terrible it is. And his dialect is even worse than The Devil's Advocate, and that is Bram Stoker's Dracula. Yes, I got a spit take. Yes. Now listen. It's a clinic in melodrama. It's a clinic in overacting. It's a clinic in how far can I stretch my face and my vocal ability to be utterly terrible. It is so beautiful to watch. I absolutely love the scenes with Gary Oldman as the old Dracula when Jonathan Harker first goes to the castle. Yeah. It is absolutely incredible to see how terrible it is. Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, nice. You should. But yes, that's what I love this movie. I can watch it nonstop every day. And Keanu, I just love how bad he is in it. A bloody blue inferno. It's so terrible. It's beautiful. I love it. So that's where I'm going.
Okay.
But yeah, Ryan, what do you say about Bram Stoker's Dracula?
Before, when I had talked about Devil's Advocate, this was one I did not want to bring up, but you know what? after doing so many of these rankums, I have to realize I can't just rank movies on my personal enjoyment. I have to look at it overall. And yeah, as much as that bad acting is, it's still enjoyable to watch, especially when you look at Anthony Hopkins and how he goes over the top. I mean, you look at, of course, with Gary Oldman, the only people who are really being straight-laced is Winona Ryder, Carrie Elways. I mean, there's so many other
Bill Campbell,
yeah. I mean,
mustache.
And even Keanu Reeves, as bad as that acting is, he is trying to play it straight.
He's trying hard. He's trying so hard.
Yeah, and also at the same time, when I'm hearing interviews afterwards, even the director himself has said, "Oh, I didn't want." After a couple of takes, he tried to have Keanu go easy on it, but Keanu, being the professional, he said, wanted to keep trying. He wanted to keep trying. So the fact that Keanu, he's not just doing bad because that's what he thought was great and stuck with it. No, he actually tried to improve on it. And then also, I mean, you are right. It is a guilty pleasure. I mean, Gary Oldman's mostly recognized for it because he's hamming it up. So let's give Keanu a big ass bloody steak and just say with your bad performance. So I'm gonna give this a yes.
Yeah, this is another one of the sort of a big movie, so to speak, in his filmography that I've just not seen. This is so yeah, Richard, what do you say about Bram Stoker's Dracula?
No. I'm sorry. You guys, you said no to Devil's Advocate. Devil's Advocate is by far a better movie, better acting performance from Keanu Reeves. I'm sorry. That movie should be buried in. I think Fantastic Four is a better movie. The 2015 in the Dracula movie.
I gotta go.
I'm sorry. I know. I guess I can go. You can look back and it being enjoyable a little bit. No. No.
I tried hard.
But anyway, Ryan, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
Oh wait, you're muted.
My bad. I want to try to at least get a few more Keanu movies that are not sequels to get into this. And
it's gonna be hard.
I'm gonna be honest, Richard. There is another bad Keanu Reeves movie I would put over Devil's Advocate. It's just like, I guess Devil's Advocate just didn't work for me, but Dracula.
You're doing PB, aren't you? You're doing PB, aren't you? Sorry, no, go.
I'm surprised this wasn't brought up. Yeah, I am doing Point Break. What the heck did I even think of bringing this one up? I'm sorry, it is bad, but it is the 90s nostalgia rewatchability of good on there. Look, you guys can say no all you want, but I'm throwing this out there because I love it. I mean, for Christ's sake, it's still one of those. If this movie is referenced in Hot Fuzz, for Christ's sake.
In everything. In the Avengers, for God's sake.
Yeah, but even then, in Hot Fuzz, it's kind of like it's still like a big plot point. Like, you never point your gun up in the air and go, ah. No, I've never put my gun up in the air and go, ah. And yeah, Keanu is just going off the walls and saying, I am an FBI agent. And then, of course, with the bank robbing scene where he's unmasked and all the other guys, it's just like, Jesus, you're supposed to be a cop. You know, it's like it's a mind hell. It's a mind fuck, but it's still a mind fuck that makes me want to put away my phone and just watch it. So, Point Break.
Yeah, this is fun. This is one I've seen once, and it's one that I also don't really want to see again. But I probably will give it another shot. I mean, I'm probably going to give it a hesitant yes, just because Keanu's performance in this is good, but it's just such a campy movie that it's ridiculous. But Richard, what do you say about Point Break?
Let's not forget he's got Gary Busey in there, who's also going bug-eyed crazy.
It's a terrible movie, and I think it's because the name is Point Break. Because the concept seems like it would work. The new one is worse than the original, which is I don't understand how that could be. I mean,
The original had a great director and Catherine Bigelow
However,
actually helming
with that being said, there are memorable. The movie, as much as I'm not, it's an okay. Like I can deal with that type of bad movie. It's very memorable because it has been on Hot Fuzz. It's been quotable a lot throughout other movies. You know what? I'm going to say yes, even though it's not. It's a terrible Keanu Reeves performance, but it's just a memorable bad movie. So it's a yes for me.
Alan, what would you have said about Point Break?
It was going to be my next one. Yeah, it's not the greatest, but it is memorable. You remember it no matter what. You know it's a Keanu. You know him. You know that role. You know those "I am an FBI." All the lines from it. Yeah, it's a yes.
FBI agent.
Biocan Diaz, Biocan Diaz.
God.
And I'm Ted Theodore Logan.
That's better.
It's back to me, and I've got two I want to bring up. One of which I think, if I bring it up, might make it. The other one, I'm pretty sure probably won't make it. So I'll go for the one that could make it. I'm bringing up Toy Story 4. Look, this is technically his first animated movie he's done. Well, yes, he had The Scanner Darkly, which you can argue is animated.
Kind of.
It's one of those. Scanner Darkly is a really arguable one when it comes to if it's animated or not, because it's more rotoscoped than anything. But for that being said, I think what he does in Toy Story 4 is entertaining. And once again, this is another one that sort of after doing John Wick and stuff, like when I heard that Keanu Reeves was going to do a kids movie, it's like I didn't know what to expect, because it's one of those ones like when you're going from big action star who's just known for murdering a bunch of people, then going to playing a kids movie. It's that kind of transition which is really hard to go there easily, but I think it does seamlessly. This is another one he really is in it for a little bit, but his role is pivotal and fun. But I think he does a good job in this. The whole movie is good. I like Toy Story 4 more than most people. I think I can't remember where it falls on my Pixar ranking at the moment, but I think it kind of flip-flop between 3 and 4 for me for best Toy Story movie. But Richard, what do you say about Toy Story 4?
I didn't know he was in that movie. I just looked up who he played. He played Duke Canuto. I didn't know that was Keanu Reeves. I'm just gonna say no because I didn't realize that was Keanu Reeves. And now looking back, I mean, it was a good role, but like I didn't recognize that was Keanu Reeves. I like Toy Story 4 though.
Alan, what do you say about Toy Story 4? I'm not the biggest fan of this one. It's not actually one of my favorites, even of the Toy Story films. It's my least one favorite. Nice. But what I love about actors is sometimes it's best when you don't know that it's them. And I think because I didn't know it was him watching the movie, there was one of the lines. Quickly, I went, "Is that Keanu Reeves?" And then I looked it up after I saw the movie. Went, "Oh crap, it was." So I will say yes because of that. Because some actors, even though it's a vocal thing, if you can hide or lose yourself into a character so much that you don't know who it is, I think that's probably the best compliment in an actor's arsenal. So I'll say yes.
Which means, Ryan, it's on you. What do you say about Toy Story 4?
Well, I hate to break everyone's hearts, but I did not see this movie. But I am going to take the Richard approach, and I'm going to do a blind leap of faith here. Look, hold on, let me no, you know what? I'm not looking at my list, so I'm just gonna listen on the arguments that you guys have brought to me and make a decision.
He's looking at the list to make sure that all his got on there.
My eyes are closed. I'm not looking. My eyes are closed. Look, Alan, you did make a great point that some of the best actors out there, or some of the good acting performances, are from actors that you didn't even know was in it. I mean, We could talk about how many times we can talk about actors going under prosthetic that you didn't even recognize that it was them until you look at their filmographies. And I don't know. I mean, I wish I could go off his performance. I really wish. I wish I could hear. I wish I was hearing more of his performance on why it's a Keanu movie. Man. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to say no.
He was struggling with that. You're struggling with that, brother.
No, I mean it's one of those ones to try and judge a movie based like if you haven't seen it, it's always really hard. So I don't really have any. I'm not too upset about that. But Richard, there's one spot left. Do you have the movie for that spot?
Look, we have 2 Bill and Ted movies. We need to have at least 2 John Wick. So I'm going John Wick 2. I think John Wick 2 is. It was between John Wick 2, John Wick 3, Parabellum. I think John Wick 2 is better than John Wick 3, even though all 3 of them are great movies. I think the introduction of Lawrence Fishburne's character in John Wick 2 is just fantastic. It's a cool role. I mean, Keanu Reeves is great in the second one as he was in the first one, and also like the ending of John Wick 2, where now he's become a fugitive. Spoiler, guys. Sorry if you haven't seen John Wick 2, but I just think it was a great solid sequel from John Wick. It was a great solid sequel, and I think it should be on there. So John Wick 2.
Alan, what do you say about John Wick 2?
Yeah, to me, honestly, all 3 John Wick movies are just one movie. Quality wise, I think I love them all equally. It's just one long movie. I can sit and enjoy those nonstop. And yeah, the John Wick character, the subtlety that you see in him when he becomes the fugitive at the end is fantastic. So yeah.
Ryan, what do you say about John Wick 2?
I actually defend this movie much more for the Europe, for him going to Europe. Some people kind of detract and say this movie should have stayed in New York. I say no. The fact that it goes outside of its comfort zone to give us a world outside of the assassin world in New York, I definitely appreciate that. And also it helped build to his legacy. Like when he goes to the Italy's version of the Continental, the manager asks him, "Are you here to kill the Pope?" That still shows that even outside of New York, Wick has a reputation. And everyone, as much as everyone loves the fact they want to keep it in New York, I love it when it tries on its own to go outside of its mythology. That way you can understand this world and how intricate it is. So by the time we are going to get that 4th one, we're going to see exactly how Wick and Fishburne as a team might want to try to dismantle that system. So I will give this a yes. But also, Keanu does also some great non-vocal performances too. Like that he has with Ruby Rose's character. It's great. In that bar, she's after trying to kill him, she's like, "Rough night." And then seeing you two, so he gets up and then signs off, "Not if I see you first." It's just great. Pretty much telling him, he tells her, "I'm on to you now. You're not going to get me by surprise." So when it gets back to that hall of mirrors in that museum, you see when he tries to be talked down, he goes, "Hey, you wanted me back. I'm back. You asked for this." Like he does. He says a lot by not having to say too much, which is the opposite of what I'm doing. I'm saying too much by not having. So John Wick is a yes.
In my opinion, you picked the wrong one. I think 3 is much better than 2.
I would disagree because Ruby Rose is in it, and she's not that great of an actress. Let's face it.
I disagree with that as well. But anyway, I actually did like her as Batwoman. But anyway,
I was just to say she looks good as Batwoman. She's not good as Batwoman, but she looks good.
But
I'm enjoying all her performances in the crossovers. I have not seen any Batwoman yet.
But my vote ultimately doesn't matter because John Wick 2 is making this. And I don't ultimately I don't hate the fact that John Wick 2 is on here. It's like what Richard said, I think all 3 are good movies. For me it goes 1, 3, 2. So But now we get to the fun part of voting. So we're going to write on the whiteboard a bit of paper what we want for 12. But before that, Richard, did you have any honorable mentions?
Just his one little moment in Keanu.
Oh, when he voiced the cat.
Yeah. I mean, I said I got like all the ones I wanted to say on there. I mean, 47 Ronin was just horrible, in my opinion.
Oh, terrible.
It would have been hard to defend. It would have been hard to select the Man of Tai Chi. Honestly,
I mean, I love the movie Keanu, but he only had one line, like one or two lines in Keanu.
Yeah.
So it was great.
Yeah, I had at
That's
least 3 more I would have suggested. Destination Wedding between him and Winona Ryder. He plays a very unlikable guy, like someone who can't stand to be around. And also, I love the exchange he and Winona have. I mean, it's fantastic. That mountain lion scene is still awesome. And when she asks him to carry her, he's clearly struggling, and she's like, "Oh my God, can you move faster?" He's like, "Can you just shut up?" My second choice would have been The Lake House. While it's not one of the better of Keanu's performance, I kind of take the guilty pleasure out of it because it's Keanu and Sandra together, and it tries to play on its time travel, time differences, time travel story plot. But I listened to a podcast of people breaking this movie down, and them breaking down the whole story is hilarious. And then finally, I would have suggested Much Ado About Nothing. Yeah, like it would not have made this list because Keanu is also very he really has no impact. You know, his character is pretty much the antagonist.
It's terrible.
I know.
Yes,
Richard would have definitely called me
atrocious.
out on picking this one. He would have called me out. I was like, "You turned down Devil's Advocate for a terrible Southern accent, but I'm picking Keanu doing a terrible British accent."
Terrible. And his line delivery of the Shakespeare is atrocious.
I mean, to be honest, most of the cast. Well, actually, Keanu. I mean, I didn't even buy Denzel doing the Shakespeare delivery, so
He wasn't terrible. I liked it.
it was not like
he did.
terrible. I just couldn't really see. It's like I can't imagine Denzel that face spouting out Shakespearean dialogue. Michael Keaton, although fantastic with what he did. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. Go ahead.
It's all good. But Ellen, did you have any honorable mentions?
I was debating on Parenthood and Feeling Minnesota, but Parenthood I thought maybe you guys had seen, but Feeling Minnesota probably not. But I really liked that movie a lot. But it was again more of a more obscure thing. But Keanu was really good in both of those films. I mean, Parenthood is kind of yeah. Exactly, but it's a little too close to Ted, and Ted is the best Ted. So, I think we picked the right ones.
But that and for me, talking about guilty pleasures, I would have brought up Matrix Revolutions and Reloaded. I really do like those movies.
The one good thing about the second one was the freeway fight scene.
Yeah, I like
love
what's her name? Sophia. What's her really gorgeous lady?
Oh my God! No, it's not Monica Bellucci. You mean?
Yeah, that's the one. Monica. Yeah, I call her Sophia. Yeah, Monica.
Yeah. Another one that I watched for this that I was considering bringing up is replicas. I think I think that's another interesting movie. But yeah, but other ones that have come up, been mentioned in the chat. We've got My Own Private Idaho, River's Edge.
I have not seen River's Edge, which is why I wanted to, Leo. I really wanted to, but that was just like one after Devil's Advocate. I'm like, I'm just gonna push that aside.
It's sleepy. All right, Garth. All right.
Something's gotta get. Yeah. He does have an important part in that movie. He
does. Yeah.
But with that being said, we're at the fun part, which is the voting part. I've already got mine written down.
All right, I got mine written down.
Give me a second.
And in this case, if there's a tie, we'll be going to the chat.
Okay.
So if you to make it more smooth, in the chat for the chat specifically, if you put in what you want for 12, then that way we don't have to wait for the chat to pop up on our end. Then that way, if there's a tie, it'll be the first person I see comment. It'll be the one. But Richard, what do you have for 12?
Point Break.
Alan.
Oh, I did this wrong.
You start at the worst.
What's that?
You start with the last one. Number 12.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think should be on number 12?
Should go 12. That's right. Should go 12. Yeah, I'm gonna then yeah, Point Break. PB.
Ryan.
We should have held off. You should have gone to me. I mean, I picked Street Kings.
I read Point Break.
Okay, so it wouldn't have mattered.
Point Break is going to be 12. And now we move on to number 11.
Pardon me.
And Alan, what do you have for 11?
Street Kings.
Ryan.
Yeah, I stuck with it. Street Kings.
Yeah, Street Kings. Richard.
I said Constantine. So yeah, Street Kings number 11.
Okay, what's next? Damn. Oh man.
Now we move on to 10.
Okay.
Richard.
I said I'm still sticking with Constantine.
Alan.
I'm going Constantine as well.
Ryan.
I went with Hardball.
I went with, just because he wasn't in it, Match always be my maybe, but Constantine is going to be 10.
I would at least put it higher than 10, but you know, that's me.
Ryan, what do you have for 9?
I stuck with Hardball.
Richard.
I went Speed.
Ryan, what do you have? Alan.
I went to Always Be My Maybe.
Yeah, I stuck with Always Be My Maybe.
Okay. Always Be My Maybe.
Yeah, and I mean, like, if anyone criticizes us for having low, like, it's a good movie. It's what he's just not in it. He's just not in it a lot compared to the other ones. I move on to 8. And just to recap what we've got left, we've got Bill and Ted's Excellent and Bogus Journey left. We've got both John Wicks, we've got The Replacements, we've got Hardball, we've got Speed, and we've got The Matrix. But I'll go first on this one. I'll put Speed. Richard.
I actually switched it to Hardball.
Alan.
And then I switched it up to Hardball as well.
Oh.
Ryan.
Damn, I actually changed my answer. I went to John Wick too.
So Hardball is going to be 8.
Yeah, because I'm just looking at the list. I'm like, man, there's some hard choices on here.
I mean, you could say there's some hardball choices on there.
Boom.
Damn, man.
Wow.
You threw it straight down the middle with me. Yeah, great job.
Oh, nice. He didn't give you a curveball?
Nope, no change ups.
But Richard, what do you have for 7?
Speed.
Alan,
Speed?
Ryan,
I stuck with John Twick too.
Speed.
Man,
Speed it is.
there goes your pop quizzes.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. The pop quizzes are still going on video. Drew's channel.
Oh, that's true.
Replay for video, Drew. Alan, what do you have for 6?
I've got Matrix.
Oh, Ryan.
I'm still sticking with John Wick 2.
Richard.
I have The Replacements.
I put John Wick 2.
Wow. Oh, I forgot about The Replacements.
It's like I know one of my take 3 member really doesn't like the Matrix, so he would have tried to get it as low as possible.
Hey.
Okay.
But Richard, what do you have for 5?
I still have The Replacements.
Alan,
I'm going to join him.
Ryan.
Yeah, Replacements.
There we go.
Well, The Replacements is going to be there. I had Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
I mean, we've got 2 there. I like Bogus more. Now we move on to 4. So, just to recap, we've got both Bill and Ted's, we've got John Wick, and we've got The Matrix. It's kind of the ones I kind of thought will probably end up being in the top 4 once we start getting them on the list. I'm not going to lie. Ryan, what do you have for 4?
I'm sorry, Peg. It's just, I love it, but unfortunately, I knew it wasn't going to stay on there longer, so I went with Excellent Adventure. And I'm referring to Replacements earlier.
I also got Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Ryan, Richard.
I actually went with Bogus Journeys. I
went The Matrix.
Oh.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is going to be 4.
4.
Okay.
What did I just do that for?
We'll check what we still got left.
We
Okay.
got Bogus Journeys, Matrix, and we have John Wick.
Yeah. That's going to be hard.
That's what she said.
I will not respond to that.
I guess you made your point, Break.
Oh. You need a replacement that.
Oh.
Right, this is going to be tough, but I've got to do this. But Richard, what do you have for 3?
Matrix.
Alan.
Matrix.
Ryan.
John Wick.
I got Bill and Ted's Bogus Journeys, but The Matrix is going to be 3.
Matrix.
And now we go to what we think is our number 1 choice.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Number 1 choice.
Number 1 choice.
Which means the other one becomes 2 by default. My 2 favorite words, default.
Default.
Richard, what is your number 1?
Look, I love Bill and Ted, but John Wick's it's a better movie.
Alan.
John Wick, baby.
Ryan.
I thought we were all talking about Keanu Reeves' performances. I went with Bogus Journey.
I mean, like both are really good performances, whichever way you want to put. But I put John Wick.
John Wick, baby.
Which I mean, honestly, I think anyone knew I was going, considering I wanted to try and get Bogus Journey at 3. So
Clearly, number one, Devil's Advocate.
Boo!
Yeah.
It's right after Dracula.
Devil's Advocate is number 69 on our top 12 list.
Nice. There you go. That'll work.
Be excellent with each other. Party on, dude.
Party on, dude.
But just to recap our top 12, at 12, we've got Point Break. At 11, we've got Street Kings. At 10, we got Constantine. At 9, we got Always Be My Maybe. At 8, we got Hardball. At 7, we got Speed. At 6, we've got John Wick 2. At 5, we've got The Replacements. At 4, we've got Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. At 3, we've got The Matrix. At 2, we've got Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. At number 1, we got John Wick. But with that being said, I'll have the poll for what you want the topic to be next week up in just a bit. But we have reached the end. Richard, where can people find you online?
Facebook under Richard Schwartz. YouTube, Twitch under External Void. And me staying at home in LA because, quarantine life. Woo!
Alan, where can people find you online?
All over the place here, TMG. You can find me. All of the fandoms and the leagues, I'm around there. If you want to look me on Facebook, I'm Alan Shepard, and on Instagram, it's Hammerhead Alan. And quarantine life for me as well here in Hawaii.
Ryan, where can people find you online?
Well, first off, you're gonna find me turning on my AC unit so I can stop sweating like crazy. Ugh. But then people can definitely follow me on Twitter with my username caramel_pain. Check me out on TMG Entertainment on Suplex City Chats, where I am part of a panelist of 5-6 people, where we mainly talk about wrestling highlights, wrestling news, and do sometimes our predictions when it comes to wrestling shows to see which one of us knows wrestling and which one of us just are just there for the hell of it.
But you can all find me over on Take 3 Productions, where I host 2 shows. We've got Late Night Tape 3. We're going to have it on as on tomorrow for a change, because it's our belated birthday stream, which we were going to have last week, but we decided to move it to this week. Who knows what's going to happen on there? We may have some people pop up. It's going to, but a bunch of stuff will happen. I haven't actually planned what's happening, so it's going to be planned, unplanned chaos.
Nice.
But I'll have Rankum next week. The topic is yet to be decided once I put the poll up. You can also find me over on Feature Presentation Presents tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, teaming up with Alan against Jay Burns and Brendan Ma.
Oh, wow.
And you can also find me hosting Full Metal Classic directly after that over on the Full Metal channel. And you can also find me hosting Full Metal Random. And this week is the Movies Christina Loves match with Anthony Tisdale up against Aaron J.
Oh my God. A real lover's quarrel in that situation. I hope Christina's not watching. Jesus.
I mean, she's probably going to be hosting. She's going to be on the stream as well, potentially, depending on how busy she is.
Yes.
But I mean, it's one of those ones. I've seen the movies that's going to be there. There are a bunch of interesting movies that's going to be coming up. But until next time, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. It's not my usual sign off, but it's fitting for Keanu Reeves.